Yes, 2-5 is here. Sports Reports is ordered. 2-5 Daily. Welcome. Like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things. Do all the good things. So, of course, it's that time of the week where we start to make predictions. So just a quick side note real quick. I know you guys are used to us on Friday, but we're going to be coming to you tomorrow because Friday night I'll be at a football game. So tomorrow we're going to make the picks for the weekend. But for now, let's talk about Thursday night football. Let's talk about my Washington Commanders going up I-95 because they actually play in Landover, Maryland. Going up I-95 to play the Philadelphia Eagles, the battle of the NFC East. What it do? One Mic Podcast. Make sure y'all checking that out. Dropping them gems twice a week. You know what I'm saying? But we going up to Philly. It's war. This ain't no Kellen Winslow thing. I'm a soldier, but it's time to knuckle up because right now the Philadelphia Eagles have come in and taken a half-game lead on Washington with a 5-game winning streak. That includes beating up on the undermanned Cowboys last weekend. Washington, on the other hand, had Pittsburgh on the ropes. Was it a first down? Was it not a first down? Probably not, but still a 1-point loss. Lattimore's not playing, so here we are. Marshawn Lattimore not playing. I was hopeful, especially going up against A.J. Brown. Brian Robinson seems to be on the right track, but it sounds like he's going to be a game-time decision. So what's going to be the key to this game? Go ahead and tell me, 2-5, you're Captain Obvious. The key to this game is going to be turnovers because Philadelphia has won 23 straight games where they have won the turnover battle. The games that they've lost the turnover battle, 18-18 over their last 36. So that goes without saying. Turnovers are important. Luckily, Jaden Daniels protects the ball. He only has 9 touchdowns on the season, but only 2 interceptions. I can live with that, rookie quarterback and everything. So, against Pittsburgh, 17 of 34 for 202. That's below his standard. He's usually a 69% completion guy. So we need to clean that up. As I said, B-Rob, if he plays, I like our chances even better. If not, then I'm going to have to pause a little bit. We got Austin Eckler toting the rock for us. And this is my question. And I've never claimed to be a coach. I've never claimed to design plays. But I know that Cliff Kingsbury is a pretty good play caller. But when we signed Austin Eckler to that 2-year, $11 million deal, my thought was, oh my, another weapon for the passing game. Hit the running back in the flat, hit the running back out the backfield and watch the yards pile up, especially for him who has a knack of finding the end zone. But so far this season, 10 games in, he only has 23 catches on 27 targets. I would like to see more of that tomorrow night, more of him being involved in the passing game. Terry McLaurin comes in 3rd in the league in receiving yards. Shock to me even. Washington had this game on the ropes with Pittsburgh until what? Until the secondary gave up a 32-yard touchdown to Mike Williams, who was playing his first game with the Steelers, which made me decide that St. Juice got to go, Forbes got to go, get them all out of here. Keep Sanistril, keep Lattimore provided he can play. But it just is what it is, right? So Philadelphia on this 5-game winning streak. Jalen Hurts this season, 12 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. Could he be the first player in NFL history to go 2020? And is that enough to win the MVP? I know Lamar Jackson's sitting in the catbird seat right now, but, with a stat like that, you might have to reconsider. But anyway, on to the game we go. Quinion Mitchell. He's a rookie, but he's been a godsend. He's already one of the best corners in the league, and he's only going to get better. So good luck to Washington over the years. Cooper DeJean, We made fun of him. Oh, they drafted him. What are they going to do? Is he going to play? And I agree, Mike. Move St. Juice inside, because outside he can't keep up, But, when I look at Cooper DeJean, he leads the league in the least amount of yards given up per target. So when he's targeted, he only gives up 3.4 yards an attempt. Now, granted, that's not a lot of data. That's not a lot of actual passes. But for the moment, I got to take it on the surface, right? So Washington has not beat a team this season that is over 500. But on the flip side, Washington also has not lost 2 straight games this season. They have to maintain gap discipline because I mentioned Jalen Hurts and his rushing touchdowns, and he keeps snaking all the damn touchdowns from Saquon. So my question for this game, when I think about this, is this where Washington having a bye, not until week 14, is this where it comes back to bite them? You're coming off the Pittsburgh game, short week. It's a short week either way, but when you're playing a physical team like Pittsburgh, you're going to come into this game a little bruised, and it's a road game, albeit an hour and so away. So if Brian Robinson plays, I like the chances. Philly has Darius Slade, Goddard, Devontae Smith, Nakobe Dean, all on the injury report. But I think they all play. So there you go. As I look at this matchup from last year, now granted, it was a different head coach. It was a different quarterback, Sam Howell. Washington lost 2 heartbreakers, including the game in overtime where Terry McLaurin made the catch, but they called him out of bounds. So Washington's not afraid of Philly. They shouldn't be afraid of Philly. But Philly's going to win. I think Philly is just playing with a certain rhythm right now. The only thing that I'm afraid of when it comes to all Philadelphia Eagle games is Nick Sirianni. He's got that Brandon Staley gene in him where it's 4th and 2 from your own 38. Let's go for it anyway. He's got, 2-point conversions after touchdowns for no apparent reason at all, just to do it. So I don't think he's going to play that way in a division game, but it's within him. So, it's on the table. But give me Philadelphia 27-23 and another heartbreaker where they get a late touchdown and then we catch them back in Landover. All right. So then real quick before I get out of here, I wanted to talk about something that's been annoying me for the last 2 years. Last summer, I came in here and I was saying how the SEC needs to join the 21st century and play non-conference games, the ACC as well. The Big 10 and the Big 12, they seem to have it down. Now, I get the arguments against it to some degree. Like you want to play national matchups, because if you're Texas, you can go play Michigan if you have 8 conference games. If you're Arkansas, you can go to Oklahoma State. If you're Alabama, you can go to Camp Randall. You can do these things, whereas if you have a 9-game conference schedule, you might be less apt to do that because you're going to be more beat up, especially playing in that league. But they still find room to play Mercer, Alabama, Oklahoma playing Maine, Tennessee opened the season with Chattanooga. They still find a way to do this, even with 8 games. So I'm sure you can maintain it with 9. Now, Sam Pittman at Arkansas was a big component of this. He just made a statement today talking about this, and then it was brought up to him if Arkansas wanted to play Texas every year. He said, no, we already have rivalries with LSU. We already have rivalries with Mizzou. We have rivalries with Texas A&M. Sam Pittman better learn who he's the head coach of because there ain't nothing those Arkansas fans like more than whooping up on the Longhorns. I tell you that right now. And with that being said, this was one of the most ferocious rivalries when I was growing up. They've only played, 6 times since the Southwest Conference went away in 1996. Arkansas has won the last 2. So when I look at this, I can't co-sign it. I understand that in most years, the SEC is the toughest conference. But your 9th game is who? It might be Kentucky. It might be Vanderbilt. Like, no disrespect, because we saw what Vandy did this year, but I feel the same way that people bang on Notre Dame for not being a part of a conference and saying how this should hurt them in playoff seeding. They don't get to play conference championship weekends since they should be penalized for that. Then the ACC and the SEC should be penalized for playing less conference games than their counterparts in the Power Four. Now, do I think that playing a ninth game in the SEC is going to hurt Georgia? Maybe this year, but most years, no. Is it going to hurt Alabama? Maybe this year. Most years, no. So I don't know what the fuss is about. Now, I know Georgia talked about, their AD talked about, ESPN needs to pay more money. You want us to play more games, you have to come off that cheddar. ESPN ain't going to do that. They already own your rights for the next 10 years or so. So you should have had that negotiation at the time that you negotiated your TV deal. We can talk about it in 2033. What about the fans? Do the fans really care about these games against Western Carolina? Not North Carolina, not North Carolina State, not Duke, not Wake Forest, Western Carolina, who I don't have to tell you is a step below East Carolina. But anyway, so like when we look at this, we talked about the scenario last night. There is up to 6 teams in the SEC that could finish with 2 losses this year. Then you're probably going to end up with a coin toss for the tiebreaker. Where they do that at? So all I'm saying is give your fans something. You're charging your fans all this money. We had the story earlier, right? Tennessee is adding that 10% talent fee charge to season ticket holders, and I believe it's 5% for single game tickets. That's supposed to take care of the NIL. So if you're charging extra money, give me an extra game that's worthwhile. Think about that for a second. So I'm not saying that Alabama in 1 year has to play Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma most years, South Carolina, Florida, LSU. I'm not advocating for that. Texas A&M, throw them all on the same schedule. I'm not advocating for that. But, there's a lot of SEC games that are rivalries. These teams have been playing each other for 90 years. For example, back in the early 90s, Florida and Auburn was a big deal. When's the last time they played? Remember Texas A&M joined the SEC back in 2012? They've played Georgia twice since joining the SEC. Now, I do like the permanent opponents that this schedule provides. They have 2 less teams than the Big Ten. So, the Big Ten is already doing this. Sack up, play the extra conference game. And you know what? You're the SEC. The committee's going to give you the benefit of the doubt anyway, so I don't even know what the whining's about. But then again, I already answered my own question. It's about money. So, join me tomorrow. Join me tomorrow. We got some Friday night football going on. We got UCLA going to Washington. That's going to be a big game because the loser of that game may not be bowling this year. I'm just throwing that out there. You got Houston and Arizona in a Big 12 clash. One team that was supposed to be a contender in the conference that is falling way from grace. And then you got a team that started off losing to UNLV to start the season. And they recently took care of Kansas State, who was supposed to be a contender. So college football is here. It's alive. I just need the SEC and ACC to get on board with everybody else. Like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things. Do all the good things. Join Sports Reports as ordered tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern. Picks, and more picks. Peace.